Your secrets, if you really look at yourself, you would be speechless. What happened to being doctors and teachers? What happened to being your brother's keeper? Nowadays kids more worried about the...
Hey guys, Jeffries here and welcome to... That's right guys, we are back. Welcome back to City Skylines. I am of course Jeffries, and we have problems in this city with traffic. Look at this. This is absolutely terrible. And actually it's a very simple issue that's going on here. What it basically is trying to feed one set of traffic into another set of traffic. Now what's supposed to happen here is there's supposed to be a priority system set up. So anything coming down off this off-ramp is supposed to wait for anything that's going straight across. But that doesn't seem to be happening. And because of that, we've actually now got queues right outside the city. And it goes on and on, all the way up to over there. Which is not very good. Because of that, there's actually a knock-on effect for all other parts of the city. For example, if the queue comes down here, then you end up with a queue going round this new octagon, which is not very good. There's a huge queue that goes all the way down, and at one point it was all the way up this hill as well, but that seems to have resolved itself partly, although saying that we do have a bit of an issue here, which I'm going to try and fix now if I can, because we've got buses that are trying to navigate their way through and it is a nightmare. So the simple solution is we've got to try and get these roads clear. Now we could scrap the buses completely, go for a metro system or a rail system, and that's not a bad idea actually, that could work. But saying that, they're expensive. They're more expensive than buses. In my opinion, they're not always as good as buses. So yeah, it's a tricky one. It is a tricky one. If I flick that to that, that could actually be dangerous, but at the same time it could work. Got a little Domino's van going around there. Loads of lorries. All this traffic that sort of overlaps itself. Just look how much traffic there is, because we actually have a huge built-up industrial area. You might remember last time this was all empty still, whereas now it is full. It's actually... you know, it's actually been built up. The only one that is still yet to develop is the farmland. But again, we're getting there. We are getting there. There's a few fields here and there that have dotted up. There's a couple of fields over here. We've still got the buses going around to try and make sure that that's working. And overall, yeah, it's not too bad. It's getting there, as I say. Right, so today we are solving traffic problems, which hopefully we've done there. I'm just going to move where I'm sitting so I can get a little bit closer to my screen. So bear with me 1 second. Today is also the last video of the week, which is quite exciting, because that means that I'll be recording the new batch over the weekend. So any comments that you guys have made over the week and are wondering why they haven't been replied to, that will all be dealt with over the weekend. So next week's episodes, hopefully, will include all of the comments that you guys have included from this week's episodes, and improvements that need to be made, etc. Because right now, I feel like there's a lot of improvements to be made, and I'm very interested in hearing what you guys think as well. We have this really nice cargo system set up as well. That's all working, which I'm very, very pleased about. This roundabout system is still working. The bus has to use it. I can't think off the top of my head what else has to use it. Apparently some lorries do. What else have we got that's new? I think that's everything in terms of newness. Although I did actually build an extension to one of our metro lines. That now terminates down here, opposite this bus stop. So I think, apart from that, everything is up to date. As you can see, this metro is very, very popular. We have 52,000 people living in our city, and we're nowhere near building an actual city yet, which is quite surprising when you think about it. Because today, we are going south of this river, and we're going to build a huge city centre complex. But the first thing we have to do is terraform, and it's the most boring part of the whole process. It's especially boring when your terraforming tool doesn't work, like mine doesn't all the time. And it's also expensive. So you can see we've got 4 million in the bank at the moment. I bet you that we have nothing left by the time we finish this, because terraforming is very expensive. You can see already we've nearly spent 500,000. And it's not just that, it's a tedious process. In fact, I want to look up how to increase brush size. Because I'm sure there's a way of doing it. Tree brush, terraform tool. Let's see if that can tell me. So I'm sure there's a way of doing it, and quite frankly we're working in large areas today, so it'd be nice to actually be able to do that. Right, let's see what it says. Okay, numpad plus minus. Aha, aha, there it is. God, that actually goes quite big. Fair enough. That is going to be so much easier to work with. Although, look at the money. We've spent 1 million already. This is a very expensive process. And there goes all our money. But, in terms of a basic... Yeah, in terms of a basic frame, that's actually pretty good. It gives us the right amount we need to actually get up to the river, which is exactly what we were looking for. The next thing to do is rebuild this railway. And possibly rebuild the power lines there as well. Well, I'm not overly fussed about that right now. Wrong one. See, I don't know what it is about my terraforming window. You have to click it in an exact point, otherwise it doesn't work properly. That doesn't feel right to me. I think that's broken. I might need to go check that out. Yes, this is again a slow process. So I'll see if I can use my new favourite button, which hopefully doesn't affect the recording. I'm just thinking that actually, because I think plus and minus were the two other buttons I had mapped to start recording and stop recording. So if I am just now talking to myself, that's going to be brilliant. God, these power lines look dreadful. Let's make sure that's all nice and flat. So the idea today is to take Spruce Heights, which is this area here, and make it bigger basically. We've used up virtually all of our money doing that. Not very good, but if I get rid of this, we do have a bus line that runs across this bit of road, so I'm going to try and be as quick as possible. Let's do bicycle lanes here. Why not? So we're going to have this new road that comes along like this. Curve it here so that it doesn't interfere too much with the railway. In fact, at this point I think we'll curve it down across the railway like so, and then it'll go along like this, up here, and then it'll join up with the 6 lane here. Now the 6 lane is going to be the bus lane, and that's going to go along here like this. It's going to join up with this one, and then it's going to head across the river via a nice suspension bridge, which we need to redo slightly. Let's have a look at this. Here we are. Perfect. Nice little bridge there. And that will head south into the city centre itself, which is going to be all in here. Going to build downtown. Now we want to build the railway line back in, because that's actually quite important. That's one of our big sources of income actually at the moment, is that rail line. Making sure goods get in and out of the city, very important. So that joins up there like so, and then that one's going to go there. This one is going to go something like that. Bravo! Now we want to get normal roads. Again, let's get the bicycles. In fact, no, let's not. Let's get the trees for this bit. We want to follow the outline of the railway. Roughly. Something like that. For that one. Trees are just there to try and help a little bit with the noise pollution. Now we want this type. I'm going to do something a little bit like this. Let's see there, sharp curve round, and then join it up something like that. And then we're just going to put some cross bearers in. One there, and one there, and then we're going to put one there, and one there. So that's that little neighbourhood done. Again, it's dark, so I can't see a bloody thing right now. Again, I'm taking a bit of a risk taking out these power lines, but they look awful. It's a simple answer to that is they look terrible, so they need to be redone. There we go. Grab the power line tool, draw across like so. And the idea of today's episode is to actually fill in all of this area here that you can see. Yep, we had a power problem. That's fine, we'll sort that out. So the other thing we want is a 6-lane road coming off of this junction here, straight down, but we want to do it so that it doesn't interfere. Oh, it looks like it is going to interfere anyway with the pathway, and that's just going to go straight down like so. Now this pathway, in fact actually that works out quite nicely because that now surfaces here. That's to try and stop people from using these pedestrian crosswalks here. So there's a little tunnel that runs under there, and then it runs under this bridge and over to here. If necessary, I'll extend the tunnel so it comes out on this side as well, but that might not be an issue at this moment in time. So that's all that done. Now we've got to fill in all of this area. This is going to end up being a huge place to live. Absolutely huge, because really, if you look how much space we've got to fill, we can put another little crossroad in like that, and then if we extend this crossroad across like so, and then this one can go across the freeway. That'll be another good crossing point. That is an issue that I've got with this sometimes, is it doesn't like to play ball. Can I make that go across like that? I can. Awesome. And then I should be able to just link that one up like that, and then link that one up like that. So it's a bit of a weird slope, but actually, no, that's quite nice actually, I quite like that. And then in the future, upgrade that road all the way down to its bitter end. But for now, I quite like how that looks. I like the bicycle lanes. I think that's quite a nice shade of green. Plus it's nice to get people out of their cars and onto something that doesn't cause quite as much traffic. That's also a very nice big plus. So to go along with that, we're now going to have to build new residential streets. I'm going to branch this off of the railway crossing again, a bit like what we've got on the other side. Again, just follow the contours of the railway. And actually, can I join that up over here? I can. So that's literally going to go from railway crossing to railway crossing. That's quite cool. Quite like that. And then again, we're just going to have side streets. I'm going to put gaps between these ones, because I think this is going to be more of a greenish area of the city. I'd like to think so anyway. So like that, and then curve that one round. And I think that'll do for that little section. Now we want to follow on these roads, go across like so. Again, we're losing the wires, but I'll build those in again afterwards. Hopefully we won't actually need those once I've done all this, because all these buildings will be built up. But just for now, so we don't lose everything. In fact, should we have a problem here? Because that's all connected. So if I just grab this wire, connect that there, and then connect that to there. that might actually... yeah, that sorts out that problem. Brilliant. Which means I can just get rid of these wires completely. Which does me a huge favour. There we go. Right, now back on to work. This one is going to go straight across like this. And eventually it's going to go down. In fact, we'll do it now. Join up like that. This one is going to go across. And I'm leaving big gaps here as well, but you'll see in a second I'm going to fill these in with other roads like so. This one, I don't want big gaps. I want little gaps. Tiny gaps, minute gaps, almost non-existent gaps. And you can see at the bottom, we've got a demand for commercial. We did have a demand for residential as well. I'm not sure what's happened to that. I think more buildings have just sprung up. Bigger buildings. Make sure that people have got more places to live. You can see again, no straight lines. Nothing is straight. It's all curved in a way, one way or another. Again, that's good. That's not a bad thing. You do sacrifice some space, but overall, I think it's better than just having a huge just grid. And even this road curving like that, I think that's very nice indeed. I do like that. And it's just, you look how big these areas are now. And how big this is as a city. I thought this place was big. Myrtle Way in Fairview Heights. But actually, in comparison, it's minute. And I remember saying a few episodes ago about population distribution. If you look at a building like this, 60 households live in this one. 80 in this one. So I was moaning about the way this one was working before. What was it? One of these little buildings only had... where's the residential ones? Here. So yeah, that's got 20, that's got 24. So that's definitely kicked in now, that mod. I'm not quite sure what was happening before. But that's one of the reasons why we've got so many people living here and so many traffic problems. Like this one, for example. Although hopefully, yes, they are starting to use this second bridge now as well. Have we got anyone on their bikes? We have, look! Someone out walking their dog on their bike. That's fantastic. And they're on the path. Why are they on the path? That's one thing I will be doing in the future, is I'll be banning cyclists on the pathways. I think that's a bit of a dangerous thing to be doing. Yeah, you can see, I really like this now. I think this is really awesome. This game especially is just so good. It's absolutely fantastic. I'm so happy with it. But before I start overly gushing, I think I should carry on building. So again, we're going to grab this road tool and we're going to follow, roughly, the shape of this road. But we're going to stop just short of joining up with that road. Reason being, traffic on that avenue can become a bit of an issue. So we're actually going to go pretty much alongside it. See, again, we're losing some office buildings in doing this. I think overall, it's not a bad way to be doing it. Go across like this. Actually, what am I doing? Oh yeah, no, that's right. And join that up like so. This one, again, we're going to come out at a slight angle. Follow this one along. Connect up there. Here, we are going to have a connection across. And probably up here as well. Because here we're going to have a road that goes down and through like this. And that's going to connect up to that one. Here we're going to have another one that's going to go along, and that's going to connect up there. Again, I'm messing up the wires here, but I'm not even sure if we need that set of wires anymore. So that's good. We can start taking out bits of wiring that we don't need anymore. Save on space and time and money, which is always important. Let's see if I build that one across like that. And then maybe just have a little one there just to fill in that gap. Perfect. And then across this gap like so, and like so. And then just go down this way randomly. And again, leave that gap. Now I'm trying to think what sort of proportions we want in terms of residential, commercial, and industrial. And actually, it's a bit of a tricky one right now. Oh, apparently those wires were important. The ones that I just severed. Ah, yeah, they were rather. Okay, let's put those back in. Like that and like that. Get rid of that. And yeah, I'm starting to like the look of this now. I am starting to like the look of this. We're going to carry on mapping out these sectors of the city. So that's all going to be Spruce Heights now. I think we have a heavy traffic ban going on there, which is fine. That's absolutely perfect. This is going to be a new area, new borough. And that's going to go right up to the bridge. I'm not going to use this across these bridges. I'm actually going to map out these roads, the freeways, as their own region kind of thing. And the reason I'm going to do it like that is so that I can control what type of traffic runs over what type of freeway. And I think that's actually a good idea. You can put a heavy traffic ban on certain roads so that cars can always use them. There's no mix-up then. I think that's not a bad idea. So let's see, that's now going to become part of this region. Region? What are these called? Districts. That's the word I was looking for. Districts. It's an existing word, Mark. Why couldn't you think of it? Alright, that's all. This is all going to be one region. Again, we'll grab the big tool. Hawthorne Square. Again, it's not a square. That's what bothers me about this game, is it's not a square. If it was a square, then I'd be quite happy to call it Hawthorne Square. But it's not a square, so I don't want to call it Hawthorne Square, because that feels like a sort of overstatement, if anything. Right, we've got this one little area left to fill in. And then we are done, possibly for this episode as well. Although, of course, we are still going to have to actually zone these areas. So let's see, if I build this big one going across like this, and then go up like this, can I make that join in over here as well? This is going to be a really busy junction, this road junction, and I might end up moving quite a few of the roads out of that junction just to stop the traffic problems. But actually that's not bad, and if I then get rid of this section here, see if I can build a station along this bit here. I'm just going to go for the vanilla station. Ooh, I actually underestimated the size of the station, but that's fine. This doesn't have to be perfectly straight. Go back to the track tool, so we can actually have people from outside the city now being able to catch a train to inside the city. And of course we'll have to build a bus line here, but again I will do that off camera. But that's that bit done. We're going to join that up there, like so. Join this one up sort of there-ish, and then we're just going to have like a little elliptical shaped road just going along here. Perfect, look at that. Right, now to finish off this bit once and for all. Right, again we're going to have, say we'll have these cross-bearing rows that go up like so. This is probably the biggest part of the project that I've worked on to date, actually, in terms of city building. If you look how much we've done in today's episode, it is massive. We're probably going to double our population once all this is zoned and actually being built. It's quite a scary thought, really, to think about that. This used to be just a nice little town with a little industrial area and not much else. And now if you look at it, it's got its own industrial sector out of town, out of the city. Never mind town anymore, we're working with the C word. Not that C word. Control yourselves. But yeah, we've got this huge city developing with an even bigger bit planned. The tiny little town is now a tiny little town, even though it's expanded greatly. There's a bit of a tax issue which I'm going to have to deal with off camera. Traffic is still the problem. We're going to have to work on that and how to solve that problem, because as you can see, a lot of people want to use the octagon. Not many people are actually going underneath and out the other side. And I'm not really sure why, because surely that's the way they want to go. But I don't know. I'm not in charge of that. Let's put one more in here, shall we? Just make sure that's nicely done, and then from here along, let's go like that, and then curve that round like so. I'd say, maybe if I put a little one here as well, that would be about it in terms of mapping out roads. Now it's time to go zone crazy. So let's do the commercial first. So I'd say we want commercial down here. We want to focus commercial really on these main avenues. So if I do something like that, and then again down here, let's get rid of that one, and down here again, let's get rid of that one, and then all along here, this little bit, and we might as well do all the way down this little main road here as well. So that's all marked out. Let's redo that a little bit quickly. There we go. And then all the way down this bit, and this bit. Let's get rid of that. And all the way down this section, again, let's get rid of that one. And then all the way along here. This is a tedious process. And it's something about these types of games, SimCity, City Skylines, there's always going to be a tedious part of it. You include them on camera at the early stages. Eventually I'll be doing most of this off camera. Because as I say, it is tedious, it's probably not much fun to watch, it certainly isn't much fun to play, but you know that you've got to do this, otherwise your city won't grow. So, it takes a while, but you know, you get used to it. Okay, that's all that bit done. We're then just going to go quickly along. I'd say up to probably this railway crossing, and then we'll focus on residential. And hopefully putting commercial on streets like this means that the big heavy lorries that are delivering goods can just drive down these main roads, do their drop-offs, turn around or whatever and head out again. They don't have to go down the little side streets and cause huge traffic problems. That's the idea. Let's hope that that's what ends up happening. We're going to chuck offices down in this section here to try and absorb some of the noise that's coming from the train. Make sure all of this is office, and then yeah, residential for the rest of it. So it's going to be all high density in this section. As we get further out, I'm going to start using low density again, because really we're not in a rush to massively boost the population anymore. I'd say this is a pretty decent sized city for the number of people we've got living here, and it's about to get a hell of a lot bigger. So yeah, I think putting low density in here and there isn't such a bad idea. Actually, you can see there's no big buildings springing up right now. There's one commercial building there, which is going to satisfy the demand that we've got. But all this is really pre-planning. It's to make sure that eventually we get the residential and the commercial popping up when we actually need it. Right now, it's not really necessary. So it's a bit of a hit and miss, really, as to when you plan these things out. But all of this area, Spruce Heights, is going to be low density. So again, we'll put the commercial in first. So we're going to have nice low density commercial in that little triangle there. Probably a nice little bit over here as well. And why not some down here too. We'll put offices all the way along this street. Something like that. Not there. A little bit like that. A little bit like this. And then some up here. Again, not that one. Let's take that one out. And I should really use this tool for this sort of thing. When you're doing fine adjustments, you shouldn't really be using big tools. Let's get rid of all this crap as well. And that bit. This is from where I put the new road in. You can see that we've almost split this in two now. Which is a bit interesting, actually. Most of these offices were affected by that. Some of them, you can see, weren't. In fact, that one probably should leave as it was. Get rid of this bit. Get rid of this bit. Get rid of this bit. There we go. Put offices all the way down here again. Like so. Like so. Not there. And like so. There we go. And I think that's about it. We've got offices running along most of the main roads. We're going to put commercial along this stretch. Again, just to make sure that noise pollution is an issue for commercial, I believe, but it's not as big an issue as it is residential, because you end up with sick citizens, and we don't really want that, just because there's a little bit of noise going on. So that should deal with the majority of that. Go across there like so. Awesome. And now the rest residential. Although here, of course, low density. We're going to put high density along the main road. Low density everywhere else. And how far are we going to do this? Probably until this main road. Thinking about it, and then we're going to back into high density. But this is, you can see, it's going to be absolutely massive when this is actually built up and working. I cannot even begin to comprehend just how big this is going to end up being, and just how massive the traffic problem is going to be. That's the bit I'm really not looking forward to, is coming back next weekend and saying we've got a traffic problem that we need to solve. That's not going to be much fun. That's really not going to be much fun. In fact, that's going to be a game changer in terms of how I rebuild most of the road network in order to actually fix that problem. It's just something that I'm really not looking forward to doing. Hopefully it's not going to be a huge problem. We've got loads of new avenues as well. That's the idea. Every nth street, let's say, there'll be an avenue, just to make sure that we can have a traffic outflow when needed. But there we go. That's all that bit done. And now it's just a case of doing the Moor District, which actually I like that name. I'm going to keep that name. I think we're going to have the Moor District is going to be mostly residential. I don't think we're going to need any commercial in here, because Hawthorne Square is going to end up being commercialised at some point, and we've got lots of commercial in Spruce Heights and of course down the main roads here. But there we go. Let's just do all this. Again, I need to zoom in a little bit, 'cause it's hard to see with high density where you've actually done. All the way across like this, all the way across like that. We have got some buildings springing up, which is good to see. Population is rising, which again, good to see. We are going to have to increase schools and things like that. How far are we off an airport? 70,000, so not far off now actually. A lot closer than I thought we were. So that's something that we can do in the future, is build an airport, get more people in, and of course, as we start going into this downtown area, we're going to come up with a leisure district as well, because we're going to need that. Get the tourists flooding in. So much money from that. And as you can see, I'm already starting to redo. Is there a way I can get this to come out from there? Doesn't look like it, so I'll just make that go there instead. And again, high density all the way across. Now I've got to do the water pipes, but looking at how long this episode has been, first of all actually I need to change all this to offices, because otherwise we're going to have no one living in these areas. We'll have offices on the rail side, and we'll have just normal housing on the other side. That seems like a good way to go. So even then there's jobs nearby where people live. So it encourages people to move in, which I think is nice. I've now got to go and fix these gaps that I've made myself, because again I'm using the wrong tool for the wrong job. Like so, and then we'll put that one back in like that. And there we go. So this little triangle is now quite happy with that. So yes, this episode is 33 minutes long so far. So I'm going to go ahead and do power and water off camera. And when we come back next time, I'm going to show you guys what these 3 districts look like. So, until then, thank you very much guys for watching. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, be sure to click the subscribe button. If you have already subscribed to my channel, thank you guys for your continued support. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video and if you're enjoying the series. And until next time, I will see you soon.